So one of the questions that I get as the owner of Choice Tax Relief is, hey, Logan, do you and your staff, do you ever, work with the same IRS employee over and over again on different clients' cases? And the answer is absolutely positively we do. This is most often the case with IRS revenue officers. There's some revenue officers' names I can think of right now that I remember very vividly, having worked several cases with them. And I don't know their first name, but I remember because if you get a notice from a revenue officer, it's typically their first initial and then their last name. So like, C. Smith or something. And we remember them. I'm pretty sure they remember us as well. And that's why I always remind my staff that even if the revenue officer is being arrogant or kind of unyielding, or even just they don't know their stuff, right? I mean, I know this, having worked so many cases myself. When the IRS employee doesn't know their stuff, it is so easy to dunk on them and make them feel like an idiot, right? Because they don't know their own internal revenue manual. But I tell my staff, look, that's not going to get you anywhere with them. And you can't just focus on what kind of feels good in the moment. You got to think of what's best for a client. And what's best for a client is probably not to just kind of like dunk on the revenue officer if they're not as technically sharp as you are. It's to work with them in a way that they still feel good about themselves. Because look, whether they're an idiot or not, they still have a certain degree of authority and influence over the case, right? There's an element of personal discretion here that the revenue officer has. Yes, we do have tools at our disposal. We have manager conference, we have cap appeal, right? We have, obviously appeal, the independent office of appeals, but still the revenue officer holds, a certain significant sway with the direction that a case goes, okay? And sometimes how difficult it is to achieve the result we want for our clients. And not just for this client that we're working right now, but maybe for a client in a few months that has also been assigned to the same revenue officer, okay? So I always emphasize to the staff to be respectful with IRS employees, even if they're not the best employee. Because just like we remember them, I'm sure they remember us. And I've always emphasized to my staff, you want to get on the revenue officer's good side, okay? You do not want to be on their bad side, because that will probably just end up not being a good result for our clients.